listen, okay? We all know family is super important, especially after having gone through this worldwide pandemic, and all of the other stressors that Rona's put all of us through. I think most of us know that, family has been more important than ever. That sometimes, being under this kind of stress, it really makes us reevaluate life in the way that we would really need to sometimes, maybe squash petty beefs, prioritize in a different kind of way. And then there's people who decide, you know what? No, actually, my beef was not so petty. And I'm about to come collect.
Two brothers are dead after one brother drove more than 700 miles with one goal in mind, to murder his brother. As Jim Murray reports, home security footage captured the moment a man walked onto his brother's front porch and then launched his violent attack.
You're watching a Cain and Abel tragedy as it unfolds. This man shows up unexpectedly at his brother's front door. Jeffrey Roberts has driven 730 miles from his home in California to get there. Then his brother Scott answers the door.
You can already see some signs here that this man is not well. Now, you might see someone, for example, huffing and puffing if they are really of bad health from a very slow walk like he did, but he doesn't seem to be that overweight. He didn't seem to be struggling overly much while he was walking. So the fact that he's breathing so heavily, right, that seems to be more of a stress thing. He's also bright red from head to toe. Again, a stress thing, right? A blood pressure thing, an anger. Perhaps you're hyping yourself up mentally, emotionally in your head to get whatever this thing is done that you just got to do, right? So, you can already see signs here right from the very beginning.
The greeting is friendly.
Hey, what's up? What are you doing? That's the gift. We came by to see Mom. She's not here?
According to family members, the brothers have been estranged for a long time. For 25 seconds, they chatted on the doorstep. Suddenly, the unthinkable happens. Roberts pulls out a pistol and opens fire. He kills his own brother, just like the biblical tale of Cain and Abel.
Okay, now this is extra with the Cain and Abel thing, although I guess it technically is. But, okay, listen. So the first thing is, the man says he came to see Mom, right? And the other brother says, well, she ain't here. And then he kept talking. And then reached in a very struggle kind of way to get the gun from his pocket. And then shot the brother. Now, all reports say that these brothers were estranged. And he was obviously not estranged from the mother, must have visited regularly enough if no one would have batted an eye at, I came to see Mom. So then the question is, did this brother show up originally because his beef was with the mother? Or is it because the beef was with the brother? Now, we would need some information cleared up. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in order for us to even determine who his original target really was and why. But let's keep watching.
A neighbor calls 911.
It sounded like gunshots.
How many did you hear?
Several.
Roberts leaves the house, ejecting a magazine from his pistol. Cops say he has plenty more. And he comes back with this, a shotgun. The gunman's path of destruction wasn't over yet. Cops say he shot...
First of all, y'all heard that huffing and puff, right? So that's telling you, listen, it's not from the physical actual exertion, right? It's from the mental and emotional exertion. It's from the adrenaline and whatever that's coursing through his veins. What is absolutely insane about this situation is just how loaded up on firearms and ammunition this man was. He literally, it's like he came to fight against a militia or something, right? Instead of just I'm showing up at my brother and his wife's house and I'm just going to kill them, right? It's very strange. You would think, okay, maybe he planned on a murder-suicide situation where first he was going to take everyone in the house out and then he was going to die by cop. Right? So maybe that was always his plan. And first he wanted to, do the whole, I'm going to go down in a blaze of glory thing. I don't know, but that is something.
His sister-in-law then set off road flares like these inside the house to burn down his brother's home. When police pull up, there's a Wild West shootout. And the gunman pays with his life.
Investigators say along with the weapons and loaded magazines, they found more than 150 shotgun shells. Scott Roberts' wife is now recovering.
Just continuing on with our video of the house fire in North Ogden. Looks like somebody turned the barbecue off.
Oh no, sir. That was not the problem.
Looks like it's you right here, probably. No, right. Wait, stop. There's a car coming though. Oh, we see real action. The firefighters are up there. Oh, yeah.
But you can see, as I was saying, right? So the only people right now who might have any insight whatsoever into why this could have happened would be the wife, who luckily survived, and also the mother, who, one of the sons did ask for. The son, the perpetrator did ask for. So, I mean, unfortunately, if the mother is a perpetrator, she'll never admit it because, that's the type of normally long-standing kind of psychological and emotional abuse that, you have some type of disorder. And as a result, you'll never see what you're doing as flawed, let alone ever admit it. But, if the mother doesn't live at the brother's house, then it would seem like he was just offering some weak excuse, some reason to have shown up. And so the beef would be with the brother. Now, the only thing we do know for sure is that him and his brother were estranged. I mean, they didn't sound like enemies, right? They didn't sound like best friends, but they didn't sound like enemies, right? I mean, he didn't even invite the brother in. Like, why would you not invite your brother into the house? Like, that's a little bit weird, right? That they were standing having that conversation on the doorstep. If anyone in my family showed up at my house, I can't imagine opening the door and then having big conversation on the doorstep, right? You would invite them in. So the fact that he didn't invite him in, it suggests like something iffy. So there is definitely something iffy between the two brothers, maybe between the wife as well. We don't really know. We don't have all that information, but what we definitely do know, okay, is that family annihilator types, because there's different types of family annihilators. So we would have to know more information about the other brothers' relationships. Right now, we don't have that information, because it's basically breaking news. So I'm going to keep looking into it, though. Now, let's take a look here at the breakdown of what was actually caught on this Ring doorbell, because it is more than the little clip that we just showed you, right? And so over the span of about 13 minutes, the doorbell camera was triggered by motion several times as Jeffrey Roberts entered and exited the home and as police responded. Now, if you've watched the Steven Crowder video, and basically everyone has, right, then you'll probably know that Ring doorbells, right, they have a maximum recording time of like 60 seconds and they kind of cut off and they need more motion for them to continue recording, right? Like they're not going to just continue recording. The only way that does happen is if you also have like a security system through Ring installed and then someone trips it, right? Because then their security people would be monitoring while, getting the police to your location. So, generally what you're going to see then, what you would see is a bunch of mini clips over and over again, maybe a minute to a few minutes. But as soon as motion stops, even if it's for 2 seconds, right? Like if the motion stops and 60 seconds goes by, motion stops, that's it. We don't get any more recording. So 13 minutes, right? But it's not going to be all one video. Now, the video kicked in again at 7:13 p.m. and that showed Jeffrey Roberts leaving through the front door and out of the sight of the camera momentarily. He then can be seen returning with a large bag in his left hand. We did see that, right? Which appeared to contain heavy items and a shotgun in his right hand. We know that contained guns and especially a lot of bullets, right? Now at 7:14 p.m., at least one more shot can be heard and possibly another before the camera cuts out for a span of about 5 minutes. When it re-triggers again at 7:19 p.m., Jeffrey Roberts can be seen frantically pacing in and out of the front walkway while talking with someone on the phone. Now, the short portion of the conversation that was captured by surveillance is difficult to decipher due to blaring smoke alarms inside the home that were drowning out multiple words. If you remember, he got a couple flares so he could burn down the house, too. Now, police later said that the suspect set the home on fire using road flares. He can also be heard telling the person on the phone about his turtles and his bank account before the camera goes dark again. Preliminary investigation shows that Jeffrey Roberts began to fire on police as they arrived on scene. This was not captured by the doorbell camera. Because again, right, someone would have had to have been on the front porch and reactivated the camera. When the ring cam kicks back on at 7:20 p.m., police vehicles can be seen on the street beyond two pillars at the home's entrance, which are pocked with bullet holes. Jeffrey Roberts then re-enters the camera's view as he runs out of the front door and toward the street while firing his handgun. He's hit multiple times by officers' bullets deployed from police out of the camera's sight and collapses between the two pillars. A group of officers can be seen approaching Jeffrey Roberts with their guns drawn. The officers came under immediate fire upon arrival. According to the attorney's office, 3 officers returned fire. Only one officer was able to immediately activate his body camera. I guess they probably, if you saw, we saw the guy driving around, right? And, he probably, just like the cops, they probably just thought they had a fire on their hands. And when someone calls the fire department, the police show up as well. So they probably had no idea initially that there was there's going to be this crazy gunman going off on them like that. So they didn't arrive with their body cams already engaged, and they were literally met by a hail of bullets, right? So you would think that it's not that hard for them to press the stupid button before they get to the address, but fine. Now, the rest of the footage here, right, is, and this would more be with the body cam, the body cam footage really starts as Jeffrey Roberts charges at police. After he falls to the ground, the police can be seen inspecting the suspect as flames pour through the residence's front window. Police then appear to enter the home as the officer with the activated camera stays outside, though most of the scene is obstructed by the officer's arm and gun. There was no audio included with the police camera footage. The county attorney stated Jeffrey Roberts was armed with a 9mm handgun. Included in the bag he was seen bringing into the home was apparently 23 fully loaded magazines. An evidence photo from the scene showed 19 of the unused clips. It wasn't immediately clear if the remaining 4 had been emptied during the shooting, though the video contained photos of the bullet hole-ridden objects around the home, including a mailbox behind which an officer hid during the shootout. The police vehicle in front of the home, and at least 13 or more bullet holes in the garage door of the home across the street. He was also carrying 150 shotgun shells, WCAO stated, in addition to the 12-gauge weapon he retrieved after the first shots were fired. There you can see right there, right, the bullet holes and whatnot, right? You can see all of the shotgun shells. Yeah, we also still don't know exactly who Jeffrey Roberts may have been speaking to on the phone. And so, obviously we're going to have to wait until more investigation was completed. Now, this has been an absolutely crazy case. This is like 21st century Cain and Abel. What is going on in this case? We need to Hopefully Jody recovers so we can ask her. Hopefully someone can contact the mother or anyone else who might be a close relation to these people so that way they can give us an update on why did this happen?